Yes, people, what is happening? Welcome back to Lily White Lane, and we are live. Welcome to today's live stream, where we will be discussing Tottenham Hotspur summer transfer window and debating whether Enic have done well enough, whether Enic have brought in the right players to help Tottenham improve and move on from last season, basically get a better finish this season, right? So without further ado, let's delve right into it. Also, guys, if you are watching this live as well, please leave your comments in the comment section. I will read them out, as I say. I will see your comments. Do love to hear your guys' opinions on this. As I say, it's not just my opinion, it's your opinions. We do these live streams for the fans, as I say, on the channel. So look, we'll delve right into it. In my opinion, I think we've had an absolutely brilliant transfer window. Well, absolutely brilliant's a bit of an overstatement. I think we've had a really good transfer window. Not absolutely incredible. I don't think it's the best transfer window we've ever had. But I definitely think it's a good one. I really do think we've made some interesting moves this summer. Moves that can really help our team out in the future. Moves that can help our team out right now. So look, we'll go through each of our signings so far this summer. We'll start off with the biggest one, in my opinion, which is Christian Romero. Obviously, Tottenham Hotspur bought in Romero a couple of weeks ago from Atalanta, which I think is our best move this summer by a country mile, and definitely the move that is going to help us out the most this summer. Obviously, Romero, he's a class player, in my opinion. He's an absolute class player. Obviously, you know, Argentinians and Tottenham, they just go together, as I say. And look, I think Romero can definitely do a brilliant job with Tottenham Hotspur. I think we needed a new centre-half. You know, that was our main priority coming into this transfer window. As Spurs fans, collectively, we said, right, a right-back would be nice, an attacking midfielder would be nice. But our first priority, our main priority this summer should be bringing in a top-tier centre-half. And Enic have gone out there, and look, I haven't given them as much credit ever than I am right now due to the transfer window. They've gone out there, in my opinion, and they have made a brilliant transfer for a brilliant defender who can really help improve this team in Christian Romero. Now, look, we saw him last week. He wasn't brilliant, but you have to look at it from a standpoint as he's not fully fit yet. He hasn't gelled into the team. Once he gels into that team, once he starts really putting in performances, he's really going to improve us. And also, I just want to say, before I move on to the next player, guys, if you are watching this live, get your comments in. I want to hear exactly what you think. Do you think Enic have done well enough this summer? Or do you think they could have done a bit more to make us improve, you know, quite dramatically this season from what we were last year? So look, get your comments in. And yeah, Romero, not our first transfer we made this summer, probably should have been. But definitely one that, you know, even if we sign no one else, we'd see the transfer window, we'd be frustrated as Spurs fans, but we'd see that we got our priority. We'd see that we got the player we want. And Romero, I think, can really develop into a class player. People forget he's not 27 or 28. As good as he is, it would have been fine if he was. He's not 27, he's not 28, he's 22. He's a kid who's not in his prime, who made Lukaku, as I say, look like a bad Mario Kart player in the arcade. I don't know where that analogy came from, but look, he's definitely an absolute class player, in my opinion, Christian Romero. We're going to hear what Wayne Bonner has to say. Wayne Bonner says, one centre-back is a start, still need to rebuild the defence, another mid, another playmaker and another striker. Enic have got a long way to go and a lot to learn. And look, I am going to get to that, and I can completely understand what you say there, Wayne Bonner. I can understand the one centre-back in itself isn't good enough. We should be looking for another centre-half, which we are now, as I say, in Tomiyasu. But I thought I'd do this live stream because there's only a couple of days to go, and I don't think we're going to make a major move. If we do, it'll be someone like Tomiyasu. And the biggest one I can think of is Traore if we're going to make a major move. So look, Romero, our first signing. Right? Well, not our first signing, but our best signing. Right? That moves us nicely on to Brian Gill. We bought in Brian Gill. I believe he was... No, he wasn't. Yeah. Actually, I'm doing them backwards. I just realised that. He wasn't our first signing, Brian Gill. But once again, something that we haven't done for many transfer windows. Looking ahead to the future. Looking ahead at what players can help us out and what players are going to be playing quality in 10 to 15 years potentially. And Brian Gill is one of those. And that's the biggest you know, the biggest thing which makes this transfer window a good one, the amount of investment in youth players we have and the business we've done when it comes to contracts to them, as I say, which I'll delve into later in the video when we get to Pape Sarr. But look, I spoke about Romero. Moving on to Bryan Gil, I think this is a class move. If it doesn't turn out, we've only spent 21 million on him. We haven't overspent, we haven't underspent. Perfect amount of money. Really, really good bid sent off Eric Lamela. I think it's a lot better, you know, and this is something that you have to give Paratici credit for, because I haven't seen us do this ever before, and it's player exchanges, it's, you know, player swaps. I've only ever seen that as a Spurs fan on FIFA when it comes to my club. What, you know, when you're looking to buy a goalkeeper or any player, and they go, you know, and for example, you offer 100 million, they go, we'll have 110 million with this player or 90 million with this player. I've never seen it with my club, which shows how bad and how dramatically bad we have been in the last few transfer windows. But Bryan Gil, he's a buy for the future. If it doesn't work out, he's only 21 million. If it does, we raise his price tag. He can either play for us or we develop another class player and get 100 or something million off him, because money's going up in football as a whole. So we can get 100 or something million if he keeps on improving, if he becomes absolute class. And I think it's another move for the future, another brilliant move for the future in Bryan Gil. I said it earlier in the stream. I want to say it again, guys. If you are tuning in, please leave your comments in the comment section below. I do want to read them all out. As I say, I will read them all out and listen to what you guys have to say. It's not just my opinion, it's your opinion. You're the reason we do these live streams. So please get your comments, and as I say, and I will read them out. But look, like I said there, Gil's a buy for the future. Moves us on to the next one, Galini. Probably the worst piece of business we've done this summer, but not a bad piece of business, if that makes sense. I don't think it's a bad move as such, but at the same time, I don't think it's as good as Romero, Gil, or Pape Sarr, who I'll delve into in a minute. Look, we need the backup goalkeeper. I mean, we didn't really need a backup goalkeeper. We brought one in. And all I can say, all I can say in all honesty is that it's an improvement for the future. It's an improvement for the future. I think bringing in a backup goalkeeper, swapping Joe Hart for Galini, a young Italian keeper who led his team to Champions League football and has brilliant distribution. I think he's exactly what we're looking for. So look, not much else I can really say about that. There's not much you can say about goalkeepers in general unless they're absolutely awful or absolutely incredible. Decent buy, he's all right. Moves us on to our final buy, and then we will delve in, as I say, to the players we've sold, and then look at your guys' comments. So look, final buy that we have made. It hasn't officially been announced, but we've bought him. Romano said, "Here we go," which means he's coming to Tottenham Hotspur. Pape Sarr. When I first saw it, I thought we were talking about the Watford fella, and I wasn't too pleased when I saw he won. But you look at this, guys. You look at this geezer's highlights on YouTube. He looks really, really talented. He looks super talented. He's a fast pace, really, really fast paced. And once again, he's 17, 18, loading him out for another year. I've seen criticism on that. I said it in my video on Pape Sarr. Perfect move, in my opinion. It's the perfect move. Perfect move to loan him out. Again, give him a bit more experience in a team where he'll actually play, and then he can come into Spurs more experienced, more ready, a bit older, as I say, a bit more mature, and can come into our team and hopefully breach into the first team. So look, that's our final piece of business. Rating all those transfers, I'd rate the Pape Sarr one. I'd give it a 7.5. I think it's a good move for the future. Galini, 6. I think out of 10, I think it's a good move. Romero, 9 out of 10 probably for Romero, and Bryan Gil, 8 out of 10. Those are my opinions on those. We'll move on to another comment here from Wayne Bonner. Thank you for tuning in, mate. And he states, a big question with transfers is, are any of the deadwood on their way out? You can't rebuild by holding on to those who aren't good enough. As for Galini, he needs decent times in games. And look, I was just about to delve into that. You're absolutely spot on there, Wayne. I completely agree with you. It's all well and good bringing in these players, but they're not going to get the game time. I doubt we'll see any of those players. I doubt we'll see. I think we'll see Gil tonight, maybe Romero, and that's it out of all three. And maybe Galini in goal potentially. But you look at those three players, they're not breaching, apart from Romero, the other three players we signed aren't breaching straight into the third team. What's the point in keeping him if you're not replacing him with the deadwood that does need to leave? The likes of Sanchez. And yeah, I understand they've had a couple good games, but they had a couple good games last season. It don't mean shit. It don't mean diddly. They'll go out there and they'll bottle it eventually because they are not good footballers. You got meathead Eric Dyer. I mean, he's stupid. He really is. I can never understand Eric Dyer. I tell you what, right? Whenever I watch him, you see him doing this a lot. He points at other people to get in their positions, and then he'll go and cost us a goal because he's so focused pointing at other people to tell them to do in their job. He's not doing his job himself, the Wally. And, you know, like Wayne Bonner said, if we're going to bring in all these players, as good as it is, we need to get the deadwood out of the club. And Talk THFC says it here. I'd give our transfer window a 5. We need to get rid of more deadwood. We got rid of Lamella, but out of all the players we need to get rid of, he was probably bottom of my list. I'd say Eric Dyer, get him out of the club. Davinson Sanchez, get him out of the club. Harry Winks, get him out of the club. Matt Doherty, potentially. I don't care that Nuno's here. He's awful. Get him out of the club, right? All of those players that I just mentioned there, out. Out. Get out of my classroom. I do not want them at the club anymore. I really do not want them at the club anymore. I think that they contribute nothing. They're deadwood, like you know, like the comment section says. There's no need for them to be in the squad. They're not good enough footballers to play at Tottenham Hotspur. And this is where the issue is with Enic. And this is why I titled this, Have Enic had a good enough transfer window? When it comes to bringing in players, I would rate our transfer window a 9 out of 10. When it comes to selling players, I would rate our transfer window a 1 or 2 out of 10, which is why I'm going to give our transfer window overall a 6 out of 10, a 5, 6 out of 10, because it's the fact that we haven't shipped out the players that we needed to ship out that are going to cost us more points and more games this season is more frustrating than you can believe. More frustrating than you can believe. Talk THFC comes in with a comment here, and he states Romero is the only player that we have signed that gets into our first team. Galini's a backup keeper, and he'll play for the future. Same with Sarr. And that's a good point and all. Now, I said earlier, you know, Gill's for the future. Gill's a buy for the future. I can understand that. And same with Romero, potentially. Romero's a buy for the future. And now, and same with Galini and Sarr. Buys for the future. But if you want to make all these buys for the future, and you want to make these buys that are going to really help out and contribute to the squad in 3-4 years, then you need to bring in about 3 or 4 players who can contribute into the squad now. 26, 27-year-olds in their prime. Someone like Danny Ings, for example, or just something like that. We missed out on a massive opportunity with him. Now, the young business that we've brought in, there's ups and downs to it, not to quote What Culture Wrestling. There's ups and downs to it. It's great that we've brought in all these players for the future. It's great that we've brought in these players who are going to contribute and help out the squad in many, many years to come. But where are the players that are going to get into the team and help us out and get us points in the Premier League right now? Where are the players who need to contribute? And where are the players who are going to contribute to Tottenham Hotspur right now? And that's what's very, very frustrating there. THFC Talk says we have basically had an Arsenal transfer window, just cheaper. But we've done better business than Arsenal. I'd have to disagree with you there. I think we've got bargains with Gill. I think, you know, bringing in Brian Gill was a bargain. I think same with Galini. And especially Romero. Well, Romero wasn't a bargain. We paid a hefty amount of money, which is going to come out in January. And this is a positive to our transfer window and all. The fact we've brought in players, and this is another positive. Right? There's positives and negatives, ups and downs, pros and cons. A massive, massive, major positive is the fact that we don't have to pay that money now, so we can bring in revenue from from games and match days, and, you know, people who subscribe to Spurs TV or people season ticket holders, box people. You know, we are going to be able to bring in that revenue, earn that money from being in competitions, and then in January we'll have a few more bob to actually pay off those players. And I think that's definitely, something we've done. As I say, we've brought in Gill's the only one who we actually permanently bought, because Romero's on a loan deal until January with an obligation to buy. So we are going to buy him without a doubt. And it's the same with Gil. Sorry, not the same with Gil. The same with I've literally forgot Galini. That's it. I almost forgot his name. I've been talking about the fella for the last 5 minutes. It's the same situation with Galini next summer and all. And I think that's a massive, massive positive to come out of this transfer window. Guys, if you are watching this live as well, please get your comments in. Even if you're not watching it live, get your comments in. I want to hear your guys' opinions on this situation. Have Enic done well enough this summer for you? Let me know in the comment section below. And look, those are the players that we bought in, and those are my thoughts and opinions on those. But what about the players that we let go of? Eric Lamela has left the club. Danny Rose has left the club. Toby Alderweireld has left the club. Juan Foyth has left the club. 4 players, right? Apart from Danny Rose, in my opinion, 4 players that didn't need to leave. Now, I understand that those 4 players went. I can understand, the likes of the bid for Toby Alderweireld and those players. But if we're looking to sell players, the players we should be selling are the Dyers, the Sanchez's, the Dumb and Dummers at the centre-half positions. Why aren't we selling these players? Why are we selling... that's another piece of deadwood I forgot about. Serge Aurier, get him out of the club and all. Why are we not selling these players? And why are we letting go of players who I can understand why we're letting them go, but they don't need to go. If we're shipping players out of the club, then get the likes of Dyer and Sanchez out. We don't need Toby to go. We don't need all these players to go. We didn't need Lamela to go. And it's frustrating as anything. And the main reason we have not gotten rid of Dyer, not gotten rid of Sanchez, not gotten rid of these players, is because no one wants to buy them because they're so poor. So we are stuck with some of the worst players in the Premier League. And I honestly mean that. I say that with my heart. Tottenham Hotspur are stuck with some of the worst players in the Premier League. The likes of Sanchez, Dyer, Doherty. We are stuck with them because no one wants to buy them. No one wants to pay money for them. £1 is a good enough piece of business for Eric Dyer. £1. Someone pays £1. You take that, Daniel Levy. You take that £1. Because that £1 you can go down the shop and buy a packet of Skittles, which is worth more than Eric Dyer. Seriously, it really is frustrating. It really is frustrating. We are going to go through a couple of comments. Guys, if you are watching this live, get your comments. And I need to calm down because there is positives to this. But it's when you start really delving into the negatives that don't get discussed enough. That's when you can feel your blood boiling. But look, Wayne Bonner says, I'll give our transfer window a rating once the club bring in players who are experienced and quality that can go straight into the first team. Not buying this for the future. I half agree with you and half disagree with you. I'll sit on the fence there. I believe the buys for the future are good. But if we are going to make those buys for the future, if we are going to, bring in the likes of Brian Gill, Romero, Sarr and Galini, you need at least 3 or 4 senior players over the age of 25 who are experienced and quality instead of bringing in young players who aren't going to contribute to the team now. But at the same time, I think the business we've done, it is really going to help out the team for the future. But I think we need to do a bit more business. So half agree with you there, mate. Half disagree with you. Talk THFC says we need to get rid. We need to get rid of Dyer, Winks, Sanchez, Aurier. Aurier is frustrating. I'll get to Aurier in a minute. I'll get to him in a second. Dyer, Winks, Sanchez, Aurier, Doherty, etc., and replace with quality replacement. Spot on there. John Fitzpatrick says, big up, bro. Thank you very much for watching, John. Get your comments in. Do you think Enic have done a good enough job this summer? Let me know in the comments. As I say, I want to hear from all you guys watching this live. We are getting a good amount of views at the moment. So, guys, please get your comments and I want to hear all your opinions, right? But look, like you say there, Aurier. We've got Forrest Whitaker right now at right back. Japhet Tanganga playing brilliant. Now, we said coming into the window, needed a centre-half, sort of needed a creative midfielder, and really wanted a right back. That's what we said that's what we said coming into it. We've got a centre-half. we haven't got a creative midfielder, and we haven't got a right back. But Japhet Tanganga at the moment feels like a new signing. I understand he played a couple games last season, but the way that Forrest Whitaker, if you guys don't know who Forrest Whitaker is, famous actor who looks almost identical to Japhet Tanganga. You know, he's in many films like Bloodsport, all of those, if you guys have heard him. But look, I think a right back's a priority. It's something that we needed to get this summer, and we haven't. We haven't brought in a right back. We've went for players, and as good as it is bringing in Gill, I'm pleased we brought in Gill. I think he's a quality player. But we didn't need a left winger. We didn't need a right winger. We did not need wingers. We've got loads of wingers. We've got Stephen Bergwijn, who's gaining a bit of confidence. We've got Heung-min Son at the moment, who's absolutely flying like no one's business. We've got all of these wingers, but all of these players that can play on the wing. Even some of the, Mora can go on the wing. We've got all these wingers, yet we are targeting another winger in Brian Gill, bringing him in instead of a right back. And people say we've got 3 right backs, we've got 1 proper right back, and that's Japhet Tanganga. Japhet Tanganga is our only good right back at the club. Matt Doherty is slower than a snail. He's pathetic. He's absolutely pathetic. Matt Doherty, I don't know. I really don't know why we still have him at the club. He's an absolute donkey. He's a donkey, dinosaur looking. Oh, he frustrates me. Just stands there, especially in that North London derby last season. Just stood there, let Arsenal run riot over him. He's pathetic. Haven't got rid of him though. Kept him in the squad. I understood. Nuno, he's played a game, and he was still absolute dog shit. Once again, nothing's changing. Nothing with Matt Doherty. Serge Aurier, absolute clown. He's an absolute clown, deciding to leave the stadium at half-time last season. And hearing Serge Aurier is very, very upset. And Tanguy Ndombele, I'll get to him in a sec. I'll get to Tanguy in a second. Tanguy Ndombele, Serge Aurier, and Moussa Sissoko are very, very upset at the moment because their friendship group may be leaving Tottenham Hotspur. Oh dear, we're not back in year 7, are we, lads? We're not back at school, Sissoko. Sissoko's another one. We're not back at school, Sissoko. We're not back at school, Tanguy Ndombele. We're not back at school, Serge Aurier. You get on with it. You're a professional footballer. You're earning millions of pounds. What most people can't even dream of. You're earning a fantastic living. Most of you got fantastic families, living in a fantastic area, in a fantastic home, but your attitude is not fantastic. Your attitude is pathetic. All 3 of them, their attitude is pathetic. They're upset because their friends are leaving their club. I'll tell you what, Tanguy. I'll tell you what, Sissoko. I'll tell you what, Aurier. I couldn't care less. You get on with it. This is your job. This is your job. If you're at work and one of your good mates leaves, it's gutting. But you get on with it because you need to make a living. Just because they don't need to make a living at the moment because they've got enough money in the bank. And that's not a quote to WWE either. I do not understand it. I really do not understand it. And it's frustrating as anything with Tanguy Ndombele and those 3 players. The fact that we still haven't shipped them. And Tanguy Ndombele, not so much. But Sissoko and Aurier, they're like 2 5-year-olds. They're like 2 5-year-olds. 2 very, very frustrating, annoying 5-year-olds who don't get their own way and like, right. Especially Serge Aurier. I can't remember what game it was. It was half-time at one of the games last season. What did he do? Just leave the stadium because we're losing. Just leaves the stadium because we're losing. I need to calm down. I didn't start this up to be a rant. It started off all good and I'm like, we're going to discuss how good our window is. And then when you boil it down and you break it down, it hasn't been absolutely fantastic. It hasn't been as good as we thought it was. Look, we'll go through a couple comments. I digress. John Fitzpatrick, he states, do you think we will sign anyone before the window closes? I mean, Sar's coming in, but that's a done deal. Apart from him, maybe if we get in Tomiyasu, that'll be a good transfer. I really do rate him as well. I think he's a rock solid defender. If we bring in Tomiyasu, that'll be a really, really good move. So look, I don't know if we will. You want me to be 100% honest, I think, and this is why I've done this stream. highly doubt that we'll bring in anyone now. I really, really do highly doubt that we'll bring in anyone. If we were going to bring in anyone, we'd be in advanced talks at the moment. And with the Kane news, I think Daniel Levy and Enic don't think we need to bring in anyone. So look, I'd love to bring in another I'd love to bring in another player, but I highly doubt it. Talk THFC says I'd take Tomiyasu over Aurier all day long. He also states Ndombele is such a lazy attitude and mentality. He has talent, but doesn't have an attitude or mentality. I'll tell you that's a move that I think will happen over the past few days. I don't think we'll bring in anyone, but in the next few days, I think Ndombele is gone. And you know what? I've had it up to here with him. I've had it up to here with Tanguy and Ndombele. Right? I tell you what, son. Right? Just go. Leave Tottenham Hotspur. He's really frustrated me. He came into the club in 2019 as our most expensive signing ever. Someone who looked absolutely brilliant, who's one of the most skillful players in the world and still is. He's got such skills. He looked incredible. Scored in that Villa game, and we're like, we got someone special on our hands here. And since then, he's been lazy. Twice last season, he played longer than 60 minutes in a Premier League game. Twice. Not once, but twice, as Pep Guardiola would say. Twice. He played longer than 60 minutes. He hasn't got the fitness. He hasn't got the attitude. He hasn't got the mentality. And the mentality is going to cause his downfall. If Ndombele really cared, if he wanted to give it his absolute best, he could be one of the best footballers in the world. If he gave it absolutely everything and really had a passion, which I don't think he has at the moment. If he really had a passion, really did care, not for Spurs, but for football, he'd be one of the best players in the world. But he doesn't. He couldn't care less. His attitude stinks. You're hearing stuff that he's upset that people are losing. He's upset that people are losing. He's upset about this. He's upset about that. And it's just like he's had a year and a half. 2 years now. 2 years since 2019 to get fit. And he hasn't done it. He simply hasn't done it. I've been saying since then, he'll get his fitness up. He's getting his fitness up. And he hasn't. So I tell you what, Ndombele, I tell you what, leave Tottenham Hotspur, go down McDonald's, or order yourself a Big Mac meal with large fries, then 6 chicken nuggets, and take those back to take those back to France, will you? Take those back to France. Go back and play from. Where did we buy him from? I forgot. I'll just say take the Big Mac and the fries to France. Take the Royale with cheese to France, if you know what I mean. There, Pulp Fiction reference. But yeah, look. Tanguy and Ndombele, I think his time has come. As John Cena would say, his time has come at Tottenham Hotspur. That's my opinions on it. But I want to hear your guys' opinions on it. Loads of people watching this live stream now. Comment down below. Do you think, every single one of you, I want to hear your opinion. Don't be shy, as to say. Comment down below your opinion. Have Enic done well enough this summer? Comment down below your opinion on the Ndombele situation. Do you believe he has enough in the tank to stay another year? And as I say, and stop putting in performances and really turn around his career. Because Shy did a video on the channel, and big up Shy as well. Guys, I always mean to shout out people. Go subscribe to Tottenham Away, Tottenham on Tour. As I say, you know, both those guys, both those podcasts really helped me out in the past on the channel. Bob Spur TV, Premier Hotspur TV, the Irish Hotspur, you know, Matt Hayes, Tottenham Blog. They're the reason I'm still doing these live streams now when people are actually watching. So subscribe to them after this stream, as I say. Be sure to show them some support. But look. Shy said it in his video, Shy from Tottenham Away on the channel. He said about Tanguy and Ndombele, and he says it's gutting. It really is gutting the fact that he's not good enough. The fact that he's not good enough because he doesn't care, because he can be such a class player, Tanguy. Such a class player. And as Spurs fans, we know that. Sorry. As Spurs fans, we do know that. And that's what makes it more gutting. Rowan Carrera, he says the summer isn't over. I understand that, mate. I understand the summer isn't over. There's a few more days to go in the summer transfer window. But I thought I'd do this stream. I thought we'd take a look at the way the window's gone so far, review it, because in all honesty, anything could happen. I could be completely wrong. Tottenham Hotspur could sign Cristiano Ronaldo tomorrow, or we could sell Harry Kane tomorrow and find out he's live. Who knows what's going to happen? I highly doubt any of those two things are going to happen. But who knows, right? No one knows what's going to happen tomorrow. But I think as far as bringing players in, I don't think we'll see any more of those, bud. Wayne Bonner says Tungy needs to go. Great talent, crap attitude, poor mentality, cash in or player plus cash, and get a playmaker who wants to play. You're spot on there, mate. You're absolutely spot on. Exactly what I was saying. As I say, he hasn't got the attitude, and it's gutting because we know how good he is. Talk THFC says 100% agree, and I completely agree with you there, Wayne. I think you're absolutely spot on in what you said there. I couldn't have said it better myself. That's the phrase I needed. Couldn't have said it better myself. But look, we've talked about Tunky and Domblay. We've talked about all these players. We talked about the players we brought in. We talked about the players who have went. Now it's time to knuckle down and talk about Enic. Now it's time to properly speak about the owners of this club, because they have been let off time after time after time. Enic out protests, right? We witnessed one earlier in the year. It was pathetic. It was a real letdown. Real letdown. There's another one coming for the Lady Gaga concert, I think. And look, I think Spurs fans as a whole have dropped the ball with Enic. And I know I've been like this, but I've been caught up in delusional. I've said the way they've brought in players and the way they've hired Paratici and Nuno and brought in players this summer, I think they've done a really good job this summer. I think they've done a good job in the players they've brought in. But that's one summer. What about the 3 summers in a row where they didn't spend any money on any players whatsoever? What about the years where they bought in this Deadwood, which we are struggling to get out now, which is the reason we have went down and become a worse football club ever since they took over us in the 90s and early 2000s? And look, I want to hear your guys' opinions on that. Rate the way Enic have went about their business this summer. Do you think they've done a good enough job this summer, or do you think this summer is not enough? Do you think this summer's not enough to stop you being Enic out? Because personally, I'm still Enic out. I do not want them to own Tottenham Hotspur. They've had a decent summer, better than what we've seen in the past few years, but one good summer doesn't count up to 6 transfer windows in a row without anything spent. So let me know your guys' opinions in the comment section about Enic. Rowan Carrera, he says, who would you sign before the window closes if you could sign anyone within reason? Look, within reason, with our budget at the moment, I think we get Tunky and Domblay out in the next couple days. I doubt we will get him out in the next couple days, but we can try and get Tunky and Domblay out in the next couple days. And I tell you who I bring in, Adama Traore. I see a lot of criticism for Adama Traore. His end product isn't good enough, right? But that's because he doesn't have any service around him. He has to do all the hard work to make the chance for himself. And come the time when he needs to put the ball in the back of the onion bag, he's exhausted. I think he's a class player. He's got pace, strength. And you imagine Harry Kane with a ball now, looking up for options with Son, Mora, who right now is in the best form of his life, in my opinion, and Brian Gill or Adama Traore on the right wing. I think he can really contribute to this Tottenham Hotspur team. Talk THFC state the only good thing Enic have done this summer is hire Paratici. If we didn't get Paratici, Ryan Mason would be bloody manager. Fabio Paratici has brought in the signings and Nuno. Look, that's a real good point. The hiring of Fabio Paratici is the highlight of our summer, in my opinion. Bringing in Paratici has made this summer better and much better than what it was going to be. I think the hiring of Paratici was absolutely fantastic. The work he's done with Tottenham Hotspur, coming into a team in absolute turmoil and bringing a positive attitude to the squad. And look, that's another good point. You can't give Enic credit for Nuno. And I've just done it there. I can't give Enic credit for Nuno because they're not the reason Nuno's here. Fabio Paratici is the reason we beat City. But because he hired Nuno and he brought in the players. He helps out. And I'll tell you what he's brought to the club. And I said this in my video about Fabio Paratici, passion. He's brought passion to the club, passion that we haven't seen for a long time. Steve Hitchen, 1 year ago, we didn't even know Paratici was sat there like a miserable old git, just going, oh, yeah, I hate the transfer window. I hate the January transfer window. No, what a January transfer window. And now you're seeing him jumping about, celebrating the goal against City with Fabio Paratici. And that's what he's brought to the club, Fabio. Don Fabio Paratici, and it really frustrates me. Really frustrates me when people go, "Oh, I never called him a Don Fabio. Fabio Paratici's done a bad job or anything." How can you criticise this man after one summer in a team in turmoil without a budget, getting brilliant business done for 4 players who are going to contribute to our future? The only thing he hasn't done is bring in players now, and that's not his fault. That's down to the budget Enic have given him to target players with. That's the only reason we haven't brought in players now, and it boils down. Any criticism people have about this summer window boils down to Enic, right? Talk to HFC says we were linked with Anderson before Paratici. With Paratici, we get Romero. Spot on there, spot on. Anderson's a good player. We bring in him, and the Romero deal is something that has got nowhere near enough attention as it should have. Nowhere near enough attention as it should have from the media, because it's an absolute class signing. And I think the way the media has just basically went, Tottenham have signed interest in Argentinian player Christian Romero. If that was Manchester United signing Romero, they'd be like, breaking news, Manchester United have signed Christian Romero, the Argentinian defender. This could affect their season dramatically. But it's with Spurs, and it's the fact they were so obsessed with a Harry Kane story, the media and Sky Sports, that they went about this like nothing had happened. Like Spurs hadn't just signed one of the best defenders in the world. Varane has got much more attention than Romero. Yet right now, Romero is a much better player than Varane, in my opinion. Talk to HFC says Levy hasn't given Paratici the money to buy players established. And you're absolutely spot on there. He hasn't given Paratici the money he needs to really get the job done. I think Levy, it's a mental. I can't understand Daniel Levy. I really can't understand him as a human being in general. But look, it'll be interesting to see Blofeld himself, the Bond villain, Daniel Levy. And now he goes about business in January and all. But look, overall, I would rate this transfer window. I'd say I don't know actually. I would probably give it, with everything that's happened in it, 6 out of 10. 6.5. I'll be generous. 6.5. Guys, get your comments in as well. Please keep on commenting. Give your opinion, as I was saying. Look, it's been really nice live streaming again. I haven't done a live stream since the last White Hart Lounge, and White Hart Lounge should be back next week, as I say, with a new guest on the third episode. Couldn't do one today, so I thought I will still make up for it with a video and a stream. And obviously, we have got the Pacos de Ferreira Insta match reaction later. So you got 3 live streams today. But look, we're just about out of time here. Thank you all so much for watching Lily White Lane's transfer window review, summer transfer window review. Thank you for watching the live stream. Keep on supporting. Stay safe, and as always, come on, you Spurs. My last comment to end off with: you consider Levy a human being? He's an alien.